Remember that time you were just settling in for a relaxing evening, maybe about to finally start that puzzle you've been putting off, when, bam, your phone starts buzzing with another annoying robocall? Yeah, we've all been there, but thankfully there's a superhero in place to fight those pesky calls. The Telephone Consumer Protection Act, or TCPA for short. Passed back in 1991, the TCPA is like a legal shield protecting our ears and sanity from a barrage of unwanted calls and texts. It's a federal law, which means it applies across all those United States, setting some ground rules for telemarketers and businesses on how they can contact us. Because let's be honest, nobody enjoys being bombarded with sales pitches during dinner, right? The TCPA is all about giving you, the consumer, more control over your phone line. It says, hey, this is your phone and you get to decide who gets to use it to reach you. No more feeling like your phone is being held hostage by aggressive telemarketers. Now, the TCPA is a pretty detailed piece of legislation, but we're going to break it down into bite-sized pieces so you can understand how it works to protect you, because knowledge is power, and knowing your rights under the TCPA can help you fight back against those annoying robocalls. The TCPA doesn't mess around when it comes to protecting consumers from unwanted calls. It lays down the law with some serious penalties for businesses that try to play fast and loose with the rules. We're talking hefty fines here, folks. For each illegal call or text message, a company can be slapped with a penalty ranging from $500 to a whopping $1,500. And get this, if a company knowingly breaks the rules, those fines can triple. Suddenly those robocalls are starting to sound pretty expensive for businesses, aren't they? But wait, there's more. The TCPA also allows individuals to take legal action against companies that violate the law. That means if you've been bombarded with illegal robocalls, you can sue the company responsible. And if you win, you could be entitled to some serious compensation for your troubles. So, the next time you get a robocall that leaves you seeing red, remember the TCPA has your back. It's a powerful tool for holding companies accountable and making sure they respect your right to peace and quiet. The TCPA was put in place back when answering machines were still a thing, but it's been updated over the years to keep up with all the fancy new technology. One of the biggest areas it tackles is the use of auto dialers, those pesky machines that can blast out thousands of calls in the blink of an eye. The TCPA puts some pretty strict limits on how and when companies can use auto dialers to contact you. For example, they generally need your express written consent before they can start bombarding your phone with pre-recorded messages or calls made using an autodialer. And hold on to your hats, folks, because the TCPA also covers those newfangled AI voice calls. You know the ones, those calls where it sounds like you're talking to a real person, but it's actually just a computer program. Yep, those are covered too. The TCPA says that if a company is using an AI voice to make marketing calls, they need to get your permission first. So much for trying to trick us with technology. Section 4. The Do Not Call Registry, your safe space from sales calls. Now let's talk about the Do Not Call Registry. It's like a safe haven for your phone number, a fortress of solitude where telemarketers fear to tread. If you're tired of getting unsolicited sales calls, the Do Not Call Registry is your new best friend. It's super easy to add your number to the registry. You can do it online or simply by making a phone call. Once your number is on the list, telemarketers are legally prohibited from calling you to try and sell you stuff. It's like putting up a big no soliciting sign for your phone. But here's the thing, the Do Not Call Registry has some rules. It mainly applies to companies you don't already have a business relationship with. But even then, the TCPA puts some limits on how often they can call and what they can say. Section 5, the price of being pushy, penalties for TCPA violations. We've talked about how the TCPA protects consumers, but let's get real about what happens when companies decide to ignore the rules. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end well for them. The TCPA has some serious teeth when it comes to enforcement, and companies that violate the law can face some hefty consequences. We're talking big money here, folks. If a company knowingly violates the law, those fines can triple. But the penalties don't stop there. The TCPA also allows individuals to take legal action against companies that break the rules. So if you've been on the receiving end of a barrage of illegal robocalls, you can actually sue the company responsible. And if you win, you could be awarded some serious compensation for your troubles.